irreversibly blue.
Normal-looking photos with disturbing backstories, Part 2. This Snapchat was the last photo ever taken of Sydney Loof, a woman who was killed by her Tinder date. Her body was cut into 14 different pieces, and when it was brought back to the morgue, it was in 6 different bags. This man was transferring oxygen tanks for 12 boys and their coach. He didn't have enough oxygen for himself, however, and died after losing consciousness in one of the cave's passageways. This man is Issei Sagawa, an actual cannibal from Japan. This photo was taken by a Japanese magazine after he was released from prison for insanity. The man in this photo, Franklin Floyd, married a woman and had custody over her children while she was in prison for 30 days. The girl in this photo is one of her children, whom Floyd kidnapped to start a new life with. He left the other siblings behind, and after this photo was taken, he went to another state, changed both of their names, and claimed her as his biological daughter. Later, he went on to marry her.
Do you think like a psychopath? Specialists have actually agreed that if you can answer this riddle easily, you might be a psychopath. An explorer and his crew were stranded in the Arctic for several months. When they were finally rescued, the explorer was reunited with his wife, to which he told her all the stories about how their ship crashed and the captain had to feed the remaining crew penguins while they huddled on the ice together in order to survive. A few days later, the explorer's wife became curious and decided to try penguin for herself. Now, despite the explorer's experience, he agreed to eat some with her. However, immediately after, he began to cry and ran out of the room. Shortly later, he unalived himself. But why? Now send this to a friend. Let's see if you're friends with a psychopath.
Kids songs with dark backstories, Part 1. Firstly, we've all heard the child song, Ring Around the Rosie, right? Well, there's a popular theory that it was actually based on the bubonic plague. Supposedly, the rosy part of the song refers to the red visible rash people would get with the bubonic plague, and the pocket full of posies refers to people putting flowers in their pocket because they thought it would stop them from getting sick. And where it refers to ashes, ashes, we all fall down, this refers to people who unfortunately passed away. But remember, this is just a theory. Next, I'm sure we've all also heard the kids song, Do Your Ears Hang Low? Well, the first record of this song comes from World War I, and instead of saying ears, they actually said nuts.
Fun facts about the human body PT.2. If someone is sleeping and you blow on their eyes won't react, but if they're awake they will flutter a bit. That's how you check if someone is really sleeping. If you drink nothing but purple Powerade for 3 days straight, your poop will turn neon green. Your sense of balance is strongly linked to your eyes, and you may notice it's harder to keep your balance with them closed even if you're standing still. Women are actually programmed to forget the pain of childbirth after a few months or so. If this didn't happen, most women would only end up having one child, which would eventually lower the population.
This is the disturbing truth about the Teletubbies. The Teletubbies is a dark nightmare about genetically engineered slave creatures being systematically trained to become part of our society. They are not in control of their own destiny. 3 things control their day-to-day lives. First is the voice, a tiny female voice that tells them when to eat, when to sleep, and when to say goodbye. The robotic voice comes from a speaker in the ground, hinting that something larger lies beneath. Second is Nunu, a harmless vacuum cleaner robot who wanders after the Teletubbies, cleaning up their messes that they made, and yelling at them for bad decisions. Nunu is the watchdog of the Teletubbies. Next is the pinwheel. When the pinwheel spins, the Teletubbies stop whatever they are doing and run to the top of the hill to perform a ritual. The Teletubbies just follow rules and listen to other beings. Teletubbies is simply a warning about the darkness of the human spirit as it ages. The Teletubbies is about the end of the world. This is a scary theory about Bob Ross. Up first, we all know who Bob Ross is. He's a very famous painter who is known for his bright attitude and his very calm demeanor. But people think Bob Ross was a serial killer, and every single one of his paintings is where he buried the bodies. People are saying this because this painting by Bob Ross is called Happy Little Accidents. Nothing special, right? But this is where they found 5 female bodies that were half eaten and dead. The painting in this location are almost identical, and this might raise the question, was Bob Ross a serial killer?
The most disturbing phone number in the world, part 2. In 2005, in a quiet luxury neighborhood in California laid a family of 6. The road they lived on is called Devil's Ladder, and things are about to take a demonic turn. The father is laying down one night at 3:30 in the morning while everybody in the house is sleeping. He gets up, picks up his 9mm pistol, and slowly starts creeping down the hallways. One by one, he shoots each of his children in the head while they're sleeping. He then made his way down to his last 2 victims. The last 2 victims of this heinous crime were his own mother and his wife. After everyone else in the house was dead, he made his way downstairs, picked up the cell phone, and made one last phone call.
911, state your emergency. Sheriff's Department, how can I help you?
I was able to find the original phone number using Spy Dialer, and as you can see on your screen now, it says he's deceased and the number's disconnected. However, when you call this number today, this is what plays.
Okay, does anyone else hear footsteps? If so, whose footsteps are these?
Make sure to like and follow for more videos tomorrow.
A time traveler from 2671 has warned us. Now yes, a time traveler has posted on TikTok several dates which humanity need to look out for. And none of these events were good, so make sure to save this video so we can look back to see if he was right. The first comes on 8th of December 2022. A large meteor, but not extinction level, will hit Earth, bringing with it an alien species and unknown materials. That sounds like it's straight out of the plot of A Quiet Place. Just 12 days later, on the 30th of December, there will be a 9.8 magnitude earthquake which will open a hole in the Mariana Trench. This large earthquake will apparently release the largest species humanity has ever witnessed. And 2023 is not looking much better, because this is the year we apparently find massive species of already known animals, such as a 3-foot spider and an 18-foot bear. And send this to literally anyone you know, because apparently in 2023, we're getting 3-foot long spiders. If that does come true, Mars anyone? Yo, Elon!
Here's the truth behind Thomas the Train. In a 1984 episode of Thomas the Tank Engine, there was a big green train engine named Henry pulling a passenger train. He runs into a tunnel and stops at the end, not wanting to go any further. Henry's driver argued with him, but he refuses to get out. He claimed the rain would wreck his brand new green paint. So the workers decided to get revenge on him and built a big brick wall in front of him so he could never get out. They then abandoned him and his body is still there today.
Why is nobody talking about this photo? See, in Southeast Asia, there was a giant sinkhole that researchers noticed had its own ecosystem. I mean, inside it had its own body of water, its own clouds, rivers, lakes. It had a self-sustaining atmosphere. Don't mind these, I was just fixing my car. Let me get rid of them for you. Pretty good. So a team of explorers got funded to go and search the sinkhole. They were mainly looking for prehistoric plants so they can use for medicine and further research. But what they found was even crazier. They found never before seen animals that were out of this world. I'm talking crustaceans, reptiles, mammals, all throughout the voyage. Everything seemed to be going smooth until it didn't, because this is where it gets scary. The team had stopped reporting to the research lab. They were supposed to be sending back updates every couple of hours of what they found. They were only supposed to be down there for 7 days, but turned up missing for 2 weeks. That's double time of what they were funded for. When the rescue team was sent to go search and find them, they found clothes and tents that were ripped to shreds. Traces of blood were also found on the ground. When checking the camera equipment, they found all the new species that the explorers had taken pictures of. But the last image on one of the cameras was this photo. But before I continue, you and your third app see this creature in the woods. Your third app says, Don't worry, I'll protect us. Let me know who it is, and let me know if you believe you're safe or doomed with them on your side. But from the picture, scientists concluded that it is bigger, stronger, and possibly faster than us. And their worry is that there might be more of these, and the sinkhole allowed them to escape and be released into the outside world.
An 80-million-year-old prehistoric shark was just discovered in Japan. Check out the video.
Friendly reminder, you would not survive a day in the wild. If you ever imagined how you'd survive a lion attack and thought you could hide in a tree, nope, they got that too. We got lion climbing trees, and the crazy thing is, they didn't always do this. Lions normally don't even rock with trees like that. It's not like they can't. They're cats. It comes with the contract. But it's the getting down part that they struggle with. They're not leopards, and bigger lions that fall can end up dislocating something. And these are lions. Going on injury reserve ain't an option. But the funny thing about lions, if they're not good at something, watch them find a way to be great. There's actually a population of tree climbing lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park in Uganda. Apparently, one lion figured they could chill in the trees to get away from insects and the heat, and now they got the whole pride doing it. They even teach the cubs to be part-time arboreal as soon as they're old enough. Well, actually not too old, because the mothers do use climbing to get away from them. Real. Somewhere a leopard's swearing appropriation. And like I said, this isn't normal. Seeing lions in a tree is like seeing lions on the beach. You never see it happen. Scientists think the lions figured out that they can use the trees and climbing to keep tabs on their prey without actually giving themselves away. Also, they look so cozy up there. I really think they just caught a vibe and climbed with it. But yeah, even a bigger male can get up there if it means they could steal a leopard's leftovers. Moral of this video, lions, find a way.
Here are 3 weird facts about your body that you didn't know. Number 1, on the palm of your hand, there's over 1,000 different types of bacteria living on it right now. Yikes. Number 2, all of us humans are 99% genetically the same. So technically we're all related? That one's kind of weird. Number 3, whenever you smile, it's actually scientifically impossible to not touch the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Oh, I'm just kidding, but you have a great smile. Let's go, I got you, I made you smile. Share this video with some friends and make them smile too.
Something that we have not talked about yet is mermaids. Are they real? Is there any proof of them? Let me tell you. While digging deep on the internet, I found this following video that I'm about to show you. Now it's very busy and loud, so you need to focus to see what I'm trying to show you. As you can see, we could very clearly see a hand of a person that's attached at the knuckles, violently fighting to get out of the net that they were caught in. You don't just catch humans in the water. Now look at this hand. This is what scientists think the hands of mermaids look like. And now I'm going to show you the hand from the video, and you can see that they're the same. Not to mention, there are a lot of pictures of dried up mermaid skeleton that are unexplained. Now what we technically think mermaids are beautiful women and men who swim around all day and sound magical and just safe, happy creatures. But that's not what people think it is. They're thought to look weird, alien-like. And when they make sounds, they screech, they don't sing. They're scaly all over, not just their tail. And they're just overall harsh, evil creatures. I personally believe they exist because 70% of the sea is undiscovered. So how do we think we know they don't? Tell me what you think.
A young YouTuber who documented his adventurous travels has died in a freak snowstorm in the Swedish wilderness. Storm de Boel was found dead after getting caught in a devastating blizzard. The night before, he sent his grandmother a tragic final message. "It's snowing heavily here, but don't worry, I'll survive, you know." His mother believed his tent must have blown away or been destroyed in the storm, leaving him without any shelter in the freezing temperatures. He was able to contact emergency services, but by the time they were able to search for him, it was tragically too late. He was just 22.
Do you know the craziest conspiracy theory about one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, Keanu Reeves, that he's immortal and has lived multiple lives? This conspiracy started when theorists noticed that one of the most prolific Holy Roman emperors of all time, Charlemagne, looks a lot like Keanu Reeves, from the eyes to the nose to the cheekbones. Even though Charlemagne was born in the year 748, the theory goes that he was powerful, rich, and of high enough status that he was asked to join the New World Order or the Illuminati, and given the opportunity to be immortal, so when he would die, he would reincarnate. So here he pops up again in the 1500s in this very famous painting, Portrait of a Man, with the man who has the exact same face as Keanu Reeves. Then in the 1800s, another very famous man, a poet by the name of James Russell Lowell, pops up looking exactly like Keanu Reeves. Then right on schedule in the 1900s, a very famous actor of the time, Paul Mounet, happens to look just like Keanu Reeves. Here's another photo. As we go, the photos get higher quality, and as Keanu is immortal and lives all these lives, he acquires more knowledge and wisdom about how to achieve success over and over again to become all these prolific men. And Keanu doesn't deny it, so before I tell you what he has to say about this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests who you want to see next.
You've just been around, there's just different generations.
We're all stardust, baby. I can see it, we have a likeness in the eyes, and the nose, and the mustache, and the beard, and the cheekbones, and the forehead.
Look at that guy. That's the real...
Oh.
This is a true horrifying story, part 29. This is an old famous story known as The Boy and the Jinn. This story took place in Nottingham, England in the early 90s. There is a massive abandoned building that has 120 rooms, many dorms, and very big halls. The building was bought to start an Islamic madrasa, meaning school for boys. They renovated the place and scheduled classes. When the school started, all the students were warned and restricted from accessing the west side of the building. No reasons given, just no one is allowed to go to the west side of the school. One of the students, let's give him a name. His name is Imran. Imran was 13 years old at the time, and he's from Bangladesh. He does not speak a word of English nor Arabic. The only language Imran spoke was Bengali. Imran was a quiet kid. He didn't have any friends. He always walked alone, sleeps alone, and eats alone. One day, Imran strays off to the west side of the building on his own, the side that he was restricted from accessing. He comes back after a while with a Quran in his hand. He goes to the Quran teacher and tells him, "Test me in Arabic." Remember, he does not speak a word in any other language but Bengali. The teacher laughs it off and starts to test him out. Verse after verse, he realizes that this student memorized the whole Quran efficiently, and everyone was extremely shocked about this. On that same night, all the students head to their dorms and go to sleep. During the middle of the night, they banged the principal's room, screaming, "There's a jinn, there's a jinn." The principal found out that while the students were asleep, the walls in their dorm would bang and scratch, and there will be voices coming out the walls saying the name Imran. Then it all added up. They figured out that Imran was possessed by a jinn that was a hafiz of the Quran. So an Islamic exorcism wouldn't really do much. The sheikh would put his hand on Imran and recite the ayat, but the jinn would come back with the following verse to break the exorcism. The ruqya cannot work on a jinn that memorized the Quran. And the jinn himself is challenging the raqi on who knows the Quran better. One of the imams that witnessed this whole situation asked to send Imran back home for 1 month, and that should treat his situation. They send him home. He comes back after 1 month, not knowing any Arabic, not knowing any English, doesn't know anything about the Quran, the same old quiet kid. And no one ever dared going near the west side of the building after what happened to Imran.
It's because they're the most athletically disrespectful creatures on Earth. There's no situation where a cat needs to be doing any of that. You see, leopards had a problem. I'm sorry, Zevi, it's too catchy. They live in Africa, but they don't weaponize the power of friendship like lions or hyenas, or a clan of Cujos, or even baboon mafia. And being a solo dolo hunter, well, you see how that goes for cheetahs. They literally have anxiety, but leopards have something cheetahs don't. Two things, actually. They're the best climbers of any cat, and pound for pound, they're the strongest, and these are cats we're talking about. They're plenty OP already. Basically, you got Teen Titans Robin in the form of a weaponized panther. Huh, that is a rhino. Yeah, that is a giraffe. And being able to climb means they can dodge the same smoke that gets cheetahs cooked. So not only do leopards have the longest grocery list of a big cat with like 90 something animals, they have the widest range of any too. But they're also crafty enough to live right next to people. They will pull up to your front door in some places. And because leopards can and will murk anything, in some places they realize that pet dogs are easy calories. I can't show you this video, but by the grace of God and plot armor, the dog made it. Also, hot take, the most dangerous predator is a predator with predators. And since leopards get got by lions and tigers too, they're much more likely to be on site with people if they feel threatened. So yeah, leopards are a flex and my second favorite big cat. What's the first? The more you know.
Donald Trump is now saying that the only way out for TikTok is a 50-50 split with America. But we, as the people of TikTok, deserve a say on who is our next leader. So let me show you your options. First up, we got Elon. I mean, for starters, there's no arguing the man's intelligence. I mean, bro might already have a Neuralink, for all we know. In terms of experience, he has multiple highly successful businesses in all types of industries, including social media. But X, still a bit of work in progress. In terms of aura, I mean, if we're gonna rank this off of like someone like Obama's walk, then for Elon, gets a 0 for low taper fade, which could be the most important metric to own TikTok. He does have a political bias, which could influence company policy. And as for wealth, bro's almost half a trillionaire. That's crazy. Okay, fine. Plus 10 aura points for that. Next, we ask, should we sell to Zuck? I mean, love him or hate him, he's a smart guy. And still to this day, unlike other companies the size of Meta, he retains 100% decision-making control for the company. He has over 3 billion people using his apps, so TikTok would likely be in safe hands, but that doesn't make up for the lack of aura. In fact, he's notoriously aura-free. -1. His low taper fade is down horrendous. His bias is whoever's in office at the time, and he's the 4th richest person in the entire world. So bro could easily make an offer that ByteDance would be happy with. Next, we have the first person to actually put in an offer to try and buy and save TikTok, Kevin O'Leary. He's founded and sold multiple companies and is a highly successful old school businessman, which might be what we need. His experience with social media, definitely lacking, but considering the type of businessman he is, he'll probably just put the right people in place to run it. Measuring aura is not a scientific endeavor. It's more when you see it, you know it. And for Kevin here, I don't feel moved. I think he actually gets a good 10 points for his reverse low taper fade. In terms of bias, he's middle right, but that does seem to be more on economic matters rather than social issues. And as for wealth, actually surprisingly lower than you would expect. And then we've got to talk about Mr. Beast. I mean, starting with, if there's anyone that we're gonna call a social media genius, it will be him. As for experience, he is only 26 and he's never been in charge of an actual social media platform. But then on the other hand, he's got almost 500 million followers. If there's anyone that will know what users and creators want on TikTok, it'll be him. His aura, I mean, again, vibe-based thing, doesn't have the Obama walk. And while we still don't see a low taper fade, it's the best of our options, so 1 point. He doesn't seem to have any political bias. And while bro is definitely not like app buying rich like Zuck or Elon, he did say that he's gonna get help from other billionaires. That also makes us less confident that he can put in an offer that's gonna sweep ByteDance off their little feet. So there are your options. So who do you choose to be TikTok's next supreme leader?
If someone is trying to make you decide in a hurry, they are probably giving you a bad deal. Walk away. If someone has a panic attack, start breathing regularly and loudly. The person that is panicking will subconsciously start breathing in rhythm with you. When a group of people laugh, they tend to look at the person they like the most. Nervousness and excitement have the same body reaction, so if you're nervous for a speech, trick yourself into thinking you're actually excited. If you think someone is watching you, fake a yawn, then watch them. Get someone to contribute to an idea and they will more likely accept it. If you whisper to someone, it's more likely they will whisper back even if there's no good reason to lower your voice. If you want to make someone feel uncomfortable, look at their forehead while you're talking to them. If you want somebody to open up to you, ask them a question. If the person only partially answers it, remain silent and keep eye contact. This will pressure the person into talking more. If you want to be more persuasive, reduce the use of the words I think and I believe. Touching someone on their shoulder or on their knee creates a stronger emotional bond with that person. Chew gum if you are still nervous.
Our brains assume that if we are eating, then we are not in any immediate danger, lowering our fight or flight response. When you approach a group of people, notice if they turn their feet towards you or away from you. If their feet point away from you, you are probably not welcome. Subtly nodding when people are talking to you indicates that you are genuinely interested in what they are having to say and they're going to like you more. If you take a moment to look at someone's eye color when meeting them, you'll be giving them the perfect amount of eye contact. If there is a mirror behind where you are ordering, you are less likely to be rude because nobody wants to see themselves actually be rude. If you buy the first pitcher at the bar with your friends, you'd be surprised how far you could go by saying, "I bought the first one." If someone is making jokes at your expense, act like you can't hear them and ask them to repeat it multiple times. By the time they say it a third or fourth time, nobody's laughing. When someone remembers you, they are most likely going to remember the first memory and the last memory of you. So make sure you always leave a good last impression too. After you have learned how to do something new and have done it yourself, the fastest way to retain that information is to teach somebody else. If you have a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out, try and listen to the whole song all the way through while singing it. Your brain is treating the song like an unfinished task in your subconscious. Plan something for every Wednesday that you can look forward to. You'll start to look forward to it on Monday, and by the time Wednesday comes around, you're already halfway through the week and almost to the weekend. If you ask someone to do a small favor for you, their subconscious mind is going to register that they like you because they're doing a favor for you. Showing the palms of your hands while talking to someone subconsciously communicates that you have nothing to hide and that you can be trusted. Whenever you're introducing a new idea to someone and you lead with the words, "This might not be for you, but," it intrigues their interest and makes it feel like it probably is for them. If you need to remember to do something tomorrow, put something in your room out of place. If you don't want to get out of bed, throw your pillow across the room. The next day, you will see this item out of place and it will jog your memory of what you need to accomplish. If you're procrastinating, just stop telling yourself how much work you have to do. This will overwhelm you. Instead, tell yourself you only have to work for 5-10 minutes, and then you're likely going to continue working past those minutes. People who are lying will normally blink more than normal, hide the palms of their hands, glance up to the right, mess with their hair, or use abnormally long sentences. If you're trying to get over a breakup, do not use fictional scenarios. Imagining your person with someone new is only going to make you more angry and sad about something that's not even real. If you want to create a deeper connection with someone you're interested in, ask them these two questions. What do you think we have in common? And what do you like most about me? If you are suffering from racing thoughts, use the 3-3-3 rule. Name 3 things you see, 3 things you hear, and 3 parts of your body. This will help center your mind and bring you back to the present. When someone apologizes for something that you don't feel like was that big of a deal to apologize for, they're probably telling you subconsciously what actually bothers them if it was done to them. If they apologize for interrupting you, they probably really just don't like being interrupted themselves. Follow for more psychology hacks.